Welcome back to our channel, where we delve into fascinating research topics that shape our world. Today, we're diving deep into the impact of economic sanctions on diplomacy, using the case studies of Iran and North Korea. But why is this research so important? Economic sanctions are a powerful tool in international relations, often used to influence the behavior of nations. However, the consequences of these sanctions extend far beyond economics, affecting diplomacy, geopolitics, and even the lives of ordinary citizens. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 1, the introduction chapter, typically includes a research problem statement, which identifies the core issue the study seeks to address, and a discussion of the research significance, highlighting the broader importance of the topic. Additionally, it introduces research questions, objectives, and the rationale behind the study, setting the stage for the entire research endeavor. In this first chapter, we lay the foundation for our research by addressing several key elements. Research problem. Our research problem is understanding how economic sanctions impact diplomatic efforts. For instance, consider the challenge of curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions while maintaining diplomatic relations. Research significance. The significance of our research lies in shedding light on the broader implications of economic sanctions beyond economic aspects alone. These policies can make or break diplomatic negotiations and shape the global order. Research questions. We'll explore these three research questions. How do economic sanctions affect diplomatic negotiations? What are the key differences in the sanctions imposed on Iran and North Korea? How do these differences impact the diplomatic outcomes in each case? Research objectives. Our research objectives include to analyze the historical context of sanctions against Iran and North Korea, to examine the diplomatic efforts made in response to these sanctions, to assess the effectiveness of economic sanctions as diplomatic tools. Research rationale. The rationale behind our research is to provide policymakers with a better understanding of the complexities involved in using sanctions as diplomatic tools. This knowledge can help shape more effective foreign policies. Chapter 2, Literature Review. Chapter 2, the Literature Review chapter, provides a comprehensive examination of existing scholarly literature related to the research topic. It typically includes discussions on relevant historical context, key theories and models, and identifies gaps in the current body of knowledge, serving as the theoretical foundation for the study. In the Literature Review chapter, we explore various aspects of economic sanctions and diplomacy. Some suitable subtopics for this research include historical context of economic sanctions, diplomatic negotiations and outcomes, impact on the target country's economy, theories and models, realism, neorealism, and game theory. Let's briefly explain these theories. Realism. States act in their self-interest. Sanctions can be seen as coercive tools. Neorealism focuses on the structure of the international system. Sanctions as balancing or bandwagoning strategies. Game theory analyzes strategic interactions. Sanctions as a form of strategic choice. Literature gap. Identifying a literature gap is crucial. In our case, we found that while there's ample research on the economic impact of sanctions, there's a need for more studies on the diplomatic consequences. Chapter 3, Methodology. Chapter 3, the Methodology chapter, outlines the research design and approach, specifying the research philosophy, strategy, and data analysis methods chosen for the study. It also addresses ethical considerations, limitations, and delimitations, providing a clear framework for how the research will be conducted. Chapter 3 lays out our research methodology. Here's how to draft it. Conceptual framework. In the research on the impact of economic sanctions on diplomacy, case studies of Iran and North Korea, the independent variables could include factors related to economic sanctions, such as their duration, severity, and targeted sectors. The dependent variable would be the diplomatic outcomes or changes in diplomatic relations between the involved countries, reflecting the impact of these economic sanctions. Research philosophy. For this research, a positivist research philosophy is suitable as we aim to analyze objective data and causal relationships. Research approach. We'll take a deductive approach, starting with theories and testing them against empirical evidence. Research strategy. Our research strategy will be a case study approach, focusing on Iran and North Korea. Data analysis method. We'll employ both quantitative and qualitative methods, analyzing economic data and diplomatic negotiations. Ethical considerations. Ethical considerations are essential. For instance, we must ensure our research doesn't inadvertently harm diplomatic efforts or the well-being of citizens in target countries. Limitations and delimitations. We'll acknowledge limitations, like potential bias in data sources, and delimitations, such as focusing on 2 case studies. Chapter 4, Data Analysis. Chapter 4, the Data Analysis chapter, typically involves the presentation and interpretation of the collected data based on the chosen research methodology. It includes quantitative or qualitative analysis, depending on the research approach, with the aim of drawing conclusions and insights related to the research questions and objectives. In Chapter 4, we'll analyze our data based on the methodology recommendations. Quantitative analysis. If it's quantitative, we'll collect data on sanctions' economic impact and diplomatic outcomes, using a sample size of 200 economic indicators. Qualitative analysis. If it's qualitative, we'll analyze diplomatic documents, interviews, and speeches, with a sample size of 30 key sources. Chapter 5, Conclusion and Recommendations. Chapter 5 will provide a comprehensive conclusion, summarizing our findings. Chapter 6 will offer policy recommendations, helping policymakers navigate the complex relationship between economic sanctions and diplomacy. Future research suggestions. As we conclude our overview, consider future research topics like the long-term effects of sanctions or the role of international organizations in sanction enforcement. Stay tuned for more in-depth discussions on this crucial research topic. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for updates.